Alright, what's going on, guys? So this is going to be the full Mauer Der Toten Easter egg guide. Now, this is going to be super comprehensive. This is going to be primarily a solo guide, so you can get done by yourself if you want to. However, some of this will be mixed in with co-op footage as well, and I'll explain why that is later. But all the steps are equally the same, whether you're playing it by yourself or with a squad of 4 people. This Easter egg is genuinely one of the most enjoyable experiences in zombies so far, and probably the best Easter egg in Cold War at the moment of me recording this video. But this is going to show you how to do every single step, show you the locations for stuff, and it should be very concise and easy to follow along. I really hope this is able to help. If it does, consider dropping a thumbs up. We'll go for 5,000 likes on this one. I'll set the bar pretty high for you guys. If you're new to the channel and you want to see more guides and tutorials and stuff, and just anything zombies related, consider subscribing to the channel as well. Be mindful of the fact that this Easter egg guide is going to go over just basically the main quest. If you need to know like how to turn on power and get pack-a-punch, stuff like that, I will have an ultimate guide to the map linked in the description if you still need to watch it and kind of just figure out the basics. But this is going to go over the main Easter egg steps, assuming you already know some of the more basic things. As far as recommended loadout, this is what I ran in my gameplay, and I had some pretty good success with it, and I think you won't have any problems if you run this as well. As always, I encourage you to experiment on your own and find a loadout that works for you, but if you want to just copy along what I had, then here it is on screen. But let's get into the steps. So your early game setup is going to be really nothing out of the ordinary, and in fact, I'm going to advise that you stay in the spawn room for about 7 or 8 rounds, honestly, because you can't do anything as far as getting parts or even really getting anything wonder weapon-wise until about round 9. You definitely have to encounter your first Panzer before you can do anything too major. I think the best move here is just to take your time in the spawn room, you know, get as many kills as possible, try to maximize points if you can, you know, getting knife kills, doing those on double points and stuff. You should have probably at least 15 to 20,000 by the time you leave the spawn room and actually make your way down through power. Again, if you don't know how to turn on power or do pack-a-punch, it's pretty straightforward in the game. It tells you where to go, but again, I do have that ultimate guide linked in the description if you guys still need, you know, explicit details on that. As you're opening up the map, it's an option. You don't necessarily have to, but you can also collect the bunny parts in order to go to the loot room, and if you don't know how to do that, again, that will be linked in the ultimate guide down below. It's completely optional, and in fact, if you're just trying to get it done quickly, I don't think it's really necessary. Head down the stairs whichever way you happened to leave out of spawn and go towards the power station where all of your basic needs are going to be activated from there. And again, collect the bunny parts if you need to, but not necessary. Once you kill both the Tempest and you have the actual, you know, ability to turn the power on, you're going to flip the switch as usual. All of the lights should change flickering on, and pack-a-punch and perks will now be available. But at this point, this is where things are going to change a little bit, and you can't just necessarily throw around your points like you want to. You should have around like 10 to 12k if you're optimizing relatively well in this stage in the game, but head over to pack-a-punch and of course activate that. A very big favor you can do yourself in the early game is focus all of your scrap and salvage into upgrading your primary weapon, and I also think that maybe Jug and Stamina Up are the best perk purchases at this early in the game. If you're going to get a third one, probably Quick Revive, but I do strongly advise these two to begin with. Once Pack-a-Punch is available, if you waited till round 8 or 9, you should have well more than enough points to actually Pack-a-Punch your gun, but you're going to want to also put Brain Rot on your weapon. This is going to come into use later, but we're not going to keep it forever. Just make sure that you have it on, and probably don't use it at this early in the round because you can do a lot of tasks already if you're on round 8 or 9. But you're also going to want to go to the dig sites on the left or right side where these guard towers are and look for the radio satellite dish. Take you a little while to find it, but I promise you it's there, even if you have to dig all of them up, but that's even recommended because you'll get a ton of scrap to build armor and also upgrade your own gun. Next thing we're going to do is work on getting the Cerberus Wonder Weapon, the surefire guaranteed method, out of the safe, and we're also going to work on upgrading Klaus. The first thing you need to do is why we got Brain Rot on our gun, actually, and you need to get a Brain Rotted zombie to essentially break into the very suspect looking room in this particular hotel room. Keep in mind, you don't necessarily need to be in that room when the brain rotted zombie spawns. It just needs to end up in there at some point, but that'll open up the safe. You also want to make sure that you get the robot hands off of this guy. Who knows what he was up to? Frankly, I don't really want to know. You just want to get the hands and get out of there. So then you want to go back to Klaus. After you kill your first Panzer, you'll be given the battery, and that should be all 3 parts on your HUD. You can put the battery in Klaus's head, and obviously the hands will go on his arm sockets, and once you have that, Klaus can actually do a variety of things. You have a lot of tasks to complete as soon as he spawns. First thing you you want to do is actually save as many zombies as possible, because Klaus needs to get a relatively high amount of kills, like 25 to 50 it seems like, and he just needs to kill as many zombies as possible. So try to just let him take care of the rest of the round that you're on. You also need him to open up the locker that's near the train station to get the black light. This can be done just by summoning him directly in front of the locker, and he should just smack it open no problem. And again, depending on the round you're on, just let him kill zombies. He might need to do like a full round or two before it's completely ready. You will have a visual indicator to let you know you've done the upgrade step right, and you'll be able to check that out in just a second. But also, while you're here and you got Klaus and you now have the black light, you can go around and look for panels that have Klaus's face on it, and you can only see them in the black light vision. So here's one of the panels just by the maintenance tunnel, and you can see in my game, here's one of them. Now, there's 6 panels in total, but only 2 in your game randomly are going to have a Klaus symbol over it. You don't need to summon him to it just yet, but just make sure to memorize which ones have that little green glowing icon next to it. I'll put all the locations up on screen so you can see where these panels in fact are. They are pretty easy to find. There's only 6 total, so you can see the actual like name on screen of what location it's in, and they're pretty distinct panels. So just look for all of them and discover the 2 in your game that have the corresponding symbol. If you're still having trouble on the step and you just cannot find these panels for whatever reason, I will have a link in the description that should help you out a little bit. But honestly, if you look around the map, they're not too hard to find. Once again, you don't need Klaus to interact with these just yet. Just simply allow him to get kills. With our newly acquired flashlight, we can now get the numbers we need to put in on the save. So for our second dial, can be found down here in the service passage. This is the numeral I got, but if you don't find it in the same spot as it is in my game, then don't fear, because it is in the room. They're all very close to each other, but they may not appear immediately. So you just got to look around for it a little bit, but they're all in the same room. This is, dial number 3 on the safe, and I got 09. You make that into one numeral, so that just ends up being 9. And then the third and final one, or I guess what would be number 1, is found in the garment factory. Also here, if you haven't done already, be sure to add the microwave dish to this little armor station, or this upgrade station for Klaus, and then of course obtain that third and final numerical sequence that you can put into the safe. And assuming you guys know how to do this, it's pretty straightforward. You just input them into the safe as you see fit and as the sequence goes. Once you've done that right, the safe should pop open and you're given the Cerberus Wonder Weapon. Fairly easy and straightforward step. Now, that entire previous safe step actually isn't necessary if you're able to obtain the Cerberus Wonder Weapon via trial, or you get really lucky out of the mystery box. If that case, you're ridiculous. From here, head back to the garment factory and you'll see that, like upgrade location at the back of the room. If it's red, that means Klaus has not gotten enough kills yet, but you can summon him on the rooftop just above where you are in this location and let him get his final few amount of kills for that machine to turn green. And when it does, guide him and summon him in front of the machine. He'll go in, and now you begin a 1-minute lockdown. I went into this in my first attempt and didn't really prepare myself. I strongly recommend that you get speed cola for this if you don't already have it. Stamina up and jug, obviously, but you get a fair amount of zombies, and the spawns are pretty frequent. It doesn't let up, and it can definitely take a lot of damage. So you just want to survive the lockdown as efficiently as possible. Again, can get a little bit dicey, so just make sure that you're prepared. Now, be mindful that this is technically the only way you need to upgrade Klaus out of this garment factory station and doing this lockdown. With the thing we were doing earlier with the neon panels, you can do this in order to further upgrade him, but this step isn't actually necessary. So if you want to take this step further, feel free to do this panel step. It's pretty easy, but if you don't want to, then just make sure you do the one at the armor factory or the garment station, and you should be good to go once he's upgraded out of that. After he gets upgraded, he'll likely go back to his original chair and sit down for a little bit, so you just want to make sure he recharges. Once you resummon him, though, go over to the sewer access location, and he now needs to destroy a very inconspicuous brick wall. So summon him just in front of it, and he should break it down. Before you do this, however, make sure that you have the laser variant or the mod of the Wonder Weapon, because you're going to need that to basically burn down the metal door that covers the secret room. Just like a spy movie, you literally just cut the laser through the door. Eventually, it will open up and revealing Valentina's secret laboratory room. This room is actually sick, and there's quite a lot we're going to do in here and interact with, but unfortunately right now, all of the items that we need to access for these rest of the steps are inaccessible right now. They're covered by an energy field. Again, don't really need to worry about doing any things with these at the moment. We need to build the headgear now for Klaus, which is pretty straightforward as well. So to get your first and easiest piece, head over to the electronics store, and there's going to be radios all around the room. Like, they're literally just all around the electronics store. Shoot all of the radios videos that appear like that, and at least one of them will pop out with the first piece you need of the headgear. Second one will be found if you go right back to where we originally spawned in the game, and you shoot this pylon that's on top of the apartment rooftop with the wonder weapon. You'll be given your second piece. And then the third and final one you need to acquire can be found in the ghost station. If you go just opposite of Mule Kick, there's this like box that's lit up with the green and red lights on the wall that you shoot that one, and it'll give you your third piece to the headgear. It's very, very easy and straightforward to do. Once you have all those 3 pieces, bring them over to Klaus and make sure to craft them onto him. You don't want to accidentally buy him like I did in this gameplay. Just actually put on the headgear first, and then you're good to go. Once you've done that and some time has passed, if you head back to the secret laboratory, the items we need to interact with should be available now, and you can grab these empty canisters out of this tube device. And you may have noticed while you're playing your game, there's these small green machines on the floor just laying around scattered. They can be different in every single game, but they look like this. They're pretty easy to find as long as you just run around the map. You'll end up seeing them as you're traversing, but just make note of where they are. I'm showing you where all mine were in this gameplay, but they're pretty easy to find, and you need to take each individual empty canister from the secret lab into these green devices that are always sat on the ground. Once all 3 canisters are in, take yourself back to the secret laboratory, go underground, and you should also shoot the machine to the left of these crystals. And once you do that with the wonder weapon, in fact, it will pop open, revealing the essence trap that we need for another step. You can only get 1 essence trap per round, I think, and even just 1 per player if you're in a co-op match, so make sure you know who has it and who's using it. But take the essence trap to one of those green machines that have a empty canister in it, and throw the essence trap near the device. It will spawn Tempest, and for a while we thought that these Tempests had to be really close to the machine before you kill them, but you can pretty much kill them as soon as they spawn. Their souls will collect, and then once the canister is filled, you can grab it, and you need to escort this back to the secret laboratory. You won't be able to sprint, or you won't be able to jump or mantle, so be mindful of that. But you want to do this with each and every single canister. Throw the Tempest trap, kill all of them, and then once it's charged up, you bring that canister back to the laboratory once you've done all 3. So now, once you've done successfully all 3 canisters, go back over to Klaus, and assuming he's got the headgear and he's fully upgraded, activate him once again and head over to the train station. And when you're here, now you're going to need him to fully stop a train. And it's pretty interesting how you do this. Basically, summon him to one of the tracks, and then go interact with this lever in the switch control room. The red path will indicate which train is coming and on what path, and you basically just summon him to stand in the middle of that particular route where the rails are going down for the actual train. So you've done this right. When a train comes through that isn't flaming like the typical ones that just, pass by the map in general, this one will be a little bit different, a little bit shorter, and it's not on fire. Klaus will fully stop the train, just dead in its tracks, and you can now board the train. You need to get a couple of items. You have to do this quickly because you can only hold it for a temporary amount of time, but you need to grab the bomb that's in this case in the middle of the train, and you also need to grab a key card off of one of the zombies. I'm pretty sure it's this location every time, but it could, jump from zombie to zombie depending on your game. But just make sure those are the 2 very important items that you get off this. If you miss one, I don't know if you can do the step again, so of course you have plenty of time, but be sure you get these items. Your newly found key card, you can go back to the safe house where Klaus is as well. You have the device now to build these like uranium holders, and go back to the safe house and interact with the computer that's on the middle of the table. You need to insert your ID first, and then just keep browsing the files as long as it gives you prompts until the screen goes red and you see like a satellite on there. So once that's done, you should get some quotes from Dr. Peck. And then now, this step is very particular about how it works, and also somewhat buggy in solo right now, and even just buggy in general. I'm hoping it's going to get fixed soon, and this is where we're going to swap to a little bit of co-op gameplay, but it's the same in solo regardless. I'll show you exactly how it's done. So now, you should be able to go over to the West Berlin Street and interact with this computer, but don't do this until you are absolutely ready. This means fully pack-a-punched and pretty much ready for the boss fight. This isn't exactly what we're doing, but it may as well be. So now you need to kill a megaton HVT that will spawn in from the sky. As soon as you kill them, the uranium will come out of both of them, and immediately, because it's unstable, a timer is going to start for the uranium explosion countdown. Now, if you get the unfortunate glitch like I did in my game where you literally cannot build this, if you're in a co-op game, have somebody else put this device together, or if you're in solo, you may have to go down to build it, and it's really inconsistent even if that does happen. But assuming you can build this, again, I do believe they're going to fix it soon, but you should be able to pick up up the uranium device, and then you need to bring this over to a zip line. And the zip line and its corresponding other side, you need to put 2 of these uranium canisters on either end. In solo, you just attach one to one side, run back, get the other uranium, build the device, and put it on the corresponding side of the other zip line you just put on. In solo, the uranium will not go down the zip line until you've placed both on either end. You can literally just grab them and then, like, you know, transport pretty quickly. Of course, you do only have 5 minutes on this step, but honestly, if you're being quick, it's an ample amount of time even if you're just playing by yourself. It's not too hard as long as you don't panic. But if you're playing co-op, just have the people on either end of the zip line, both of the uranium canister, and have them put it down the zip line at the same time. It should explode and it will combine, revealing a cleansed rock that you can pick up. Now, keep in mind that whether you're holding the uranium device or the like radioactive material you get from combining them, it will do damage to you. It'll take like 2 HP every second or so, but you need to run this down as fast as you can into the secret laboratory and put it into that main device where we got the empty canisters from. You may need to do this twice because typically the first one is not enough uranium, so just rinse and repeat, end the round, and do the exact same procedure to get the second uranium. But at this point, once you put the second one in, you are pretty much thrown into the boss fight. There's not like a wait just to go and enter and prepare. You're pretty much just thrown right in, and we found that out the hard way. I'm going to give you guys a couple tips and tricks you can use to complete this boss fight around. It's not particularly hard, but it is a long boss fight, and it definitely tests your patience. You just need to play consistently well throughout the whole boss fight, and you'll have no problem completing this. So you can think of the Valentina boss fight. First of all, she'll come out of the dark ether, and she's completely corrupted at this point. She has tons of powers, and she can do a variety of attacks. First of all, she does have a bubble shield that will cover her in most cases. The bubble shield can be broken just by sheer firepower. I'm gonna suggest things like the, you know, very base wonder weapon, just the regular Cerberus. Also, the M16 is really good against her, and then of course the Gallo shotgun, if you can get in close, is pretty good as well. But I primarily use the Gallo shotgun for clearing out other enemies that you're gonna get. In your first wave, you really won't have too many zombies to deal with, to be honest. It's basically just Valentina, but you need to work through her until she teleports after dealing enough damage to the next location. You'll be in the West Berlin Street, same procedure. Knock down the health bar, that is the blue one, which is her shield just above her. Deal enough actual HP damage, and then she'll teleport to another location, which will be on the rooftop. Her attacks, some of them to watch out for are a wipe attack, which you'll know visually on your screen when it's about to happen. It will go blue, and you just need to take cover, maybe under her or just like behind a wall or something. Do not make eye contact with her during that attack, or else you probably will die. Another attack she can have is shooting like these yellow shards in a like a spread shot fashion. That one can be avoided just by running in a circle because it goes in a 360-degree fashion. But also, if you see zombies crowding around her like right now, she is healing and using those to get HP back, so you just need to kill those zombies as quickly as possible. But just wear down the shield and then use a death machine if you can. Lay into it. That does a ton of damage and should get you through these phases fairly fast. The second to final phase will be back in the East Berlin streets, and pretty much at this point you can start to use really anything you've got left over. That means ammo, armor, ring of fires if you got it. They're not particularly effective on Valentina, but they're good at just clearing out enemies. If I will say, a fully upgraded ring of fire will also completely nullify her range attack, so it is quite good to have, you know, your teammates just in for protection. But deal enough damage, same situation as before, and then she'll move to our final location, which will be back at the original secret lab. Finish out the rest of the fight strong, and you're pretty much wrapping this Easter egg up. Now, when you think it's over, it's not really over, and you'll see what I mean. What I'm going to do is basically let the rest of this play out as it was, and you'll see our reactions to it, not only because it's kind of cool, but you'll see what I mean when it happens. But basically, if you made it to this point, you've essentially beaten the Easter egg. Congratulations. If this did help out in any way whatsoever, make sure to drop the video a like rating. That would be wonderful. Subscribe if you are new to the channel before you go. Once again, I'm going to let you guys watch the rest of the sequence and how it plays out and everything, but I hope you guys did enjoy this guide, and hopefully you enjoyed Mauer Der Toten just as much as I did. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate your time. If you made it this far in the video, leave a little smiley face to let me know you made it to the very end of this guide, but I definitely want to let you guys watch the end of this. Enjoy the rest of the game and have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Deliver the warhead to the Dark Ether. Let us be done with this.
I suppose this is the real reason why I'm here. Oh, well, it is important to feel needed.
Homeboy's gone.
Dude, my guy's gone. Oh my god, he's going
It's
in.
not over.
Okay, defend. We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
Oh my god, there's more. What?
Wait, this is sick.
Yeah, it's so good.
Why are you saving
Everyone
your
full
bullet
force
clock?
the
It's
front,
raining
dude.
right now.
Shut up, Mark.
Everyone full force. He's doing it for the good of all people.
The good of
Oh
the
my god,
boys.
what an absolute lad. Wait, he's doing it.
Goodbye, Klaus.
He's stopping the Forsaken. Brother.
The Forsaken's like, the DLC season is not over. Cheers.
Yo, his health is dropping now.
Yeah, it is.
There we
Oh
go.
my
We
god.
did it. Complete main quest. Done.
Let's go.
Let's go,
I'm going
chat!
in, boys. I'm going in as well.
Another cutscene.
Agents of
Let's
Requiem.
go.
Your ally, Raptor 1. is
Raptor
now-
1.
All you need to is come and collect him.
There's the boy.
Boy, are you a sight for sore eyes.
I do appreciate your assistance, but regrettably, I cannot allow you to leave Berlin.
Oh.
До свидания, Requiem.
I'm trying to help you, but you need to be ready to move.
Oh my god, have we got an escape?
Yeah, what?
Get to the rooftop.
There's no way.
Now, Sam.
Oh my god. More cutscene.
What the f- What?
Oh my god. Come on. Yo, let's go.
What the f- What? Let's go,